Well, hello there. This is Lichess, the chess noob, learning and having fun with chess. Welcome to another episode of Quick Wins. And in today's game, this is a really cool demonstration of always keeping an eye out for tactical attacks and when you have a plan to strike, to go with it. I've got the white pieces, and the game starts off with black playing the Scandinavian defense. So e4, d5. And interesting thing about the Scandinavian, so in the past, it was known as the center counter defense or the center counter game. Makes perfect sense. Scandinavian's been known for a very, very long time, very, very old opening, and the pre-20th century Romantic masters were very, very familiar with this line. So against this, capture. And here my opponent with the black pieces plays what is known as the modern variation in the Scandinavian. This was played by a variety of pre-20th century Romantic masters, particularly by Joseph the Black Death Blackburn. I've got a game in the article linked to this video where he plays this game to devastating effect against Alekhine, winning in 20 moves. Now here, against this, what I usually do is I develop the other knight. There we go. This technically transposes into Alekhine's defense, the Scandinavian variation. So basically into a sort of a hypermodern-ish type opening. Now in this game, the best move, and this is what Blackburn played, is to capture. However, my opponent decided to play the bishop instead. Which is very interesting, not so accurate. And here, according to Stockfish, I have an opportunity of holding onto that pawn. You can see upper pawn material, fairly tricky sort of line, beginning initially with bishop to b5 check. However, against the Scandinavian modern variation, I'm usually happy to give back that pawn. And rather try to hold on to pawn and cause complications, what I usually try to do is just develop. So the other knight, Stockfish reckons that's better. They now capture. Here, that's fine, I ignore that, ask what they're doing with their bishop. They decide to trade away their initiative, captures, and here I've sort of moved out of some of the potential trickiness and some of the traps from the Scandinavian because they've liquidated their attack, they've got nothing left, and black obviously needs to move the bishop. Now, to me, the most logical place for the bishop is probably to f5. That kind of makes a bit of sense. However, my opponent played bishop all the way back, and according to Stockfish, that move is fine. Very little to distinguish to, according to Stockfish, by evaluation. To me, that probably makes more sense tactically in human terms. Now here, one of the advantages I now have, developed the bishop, is that even though black has won some compensation, I suppose, or they've won, a concession from me because I've got these doubled C pawns, I, however, have much better development, ready potentially to castle as well. Black has no development. They decide to play e6, good move because potentially I'm already looking at tactical attack, attacking the weak f pawn. With this move, there's no attack here anymore, at least not with two pieces. Okay, good to know. I decide to push my d pawn now. Let's try to take the center, avoid the pawn moving forward. They develop the bishop. So this, what is black trying to do? They're trying to short castle. And here I was quite convinced that they were going to short castle. And because now queen's line is open, knight in this position, I've got a potential, and I saw this in the game, I've got a potential Greek gift sacrifice. Always keep an eye out for some of these tactical patterns. So need to bring the bishop back, potentially with an attack there, and then of course the queen here. Very, very powerful attack. Even if it's not the most accurate, according to Stockfish, it can often be very difficult for the opponent to navigate against that attack. So bishop back to d3. And basically, I'm poised to I'm poised to launch a Greek gift sacrifice attack if black short castles. You can see Stockfish reckons castling first is best. That's sensible. However, I'm getting myself ready for the attack. They now short castles. That's what they did. And so immediately I'm going to sacrifice the bishop. Step 1 of the Greek gift sacrifice, capture. Now, Stockfish doesn't think that that was the most accurate move. In fact, Stockfish calls it a mistake. However, all it does is it goes from about +1 to 0, 0, 0. So even though it's notionally a mistake, at best, black has only equalized if they play the most accurate moves. And it's not that easy for black to do. They take, that's the right move. Step 2, in the Greek gift sacrifice, the knight jumps forward. Basically, it's allowable when you've got basically as many defenders as they have attackers. Check. Black has to respond, and the only correct move, the only move that maintains equality for black in this position is a somewhat unintuitive, it doesn't look right, or walking the king forward to g6, or walking into the attack. Difficult to play, especially at the beginner intermediate level. They played a much more intuitive, bringing the king back to g8. Well, that's a blunder. You can see really, really bad because I now have queen h5. It's gonna be potentially mate next turn. In fact, here black opted to resign. They had a think, but the only way they can prevent an immediate checkmate line, the only way to avoid a checkmate line is black must trade their queen for my knight. Difficult to play, the sort of thing that, you know, causes emotional damage. Good game, GG.